our last video, we left off at the Welcome to Wisconsin rest area, thinking that we would be overnighting here. However, the storm passed and it ended up being a bit busier than we'd liked, so we decided to push on. On the app, iOverlander, I found an overnight location in the town of Tomah. However, when we arrived, it looked as though the lot had been under construction and the parking places were very limited. We left Tomah early and we traveled along Wisconsin Highway 21. As we neared the town of Arkdale, we passed a roadside marker that caught my attention. The marker provided information on the Lutheran Church of the Norwegian Synod. This church was built and stood from 1887 to 1921, at which time it was dismantled and rebuilt in the town of Arkdale, where it currently stands. Our morning drive was interesting as we snaked along country back roads and avoided main highways. We stopped at the American Legion Veterans Memorial Project in the town of Wild Rose. The focal point of this memorial is a restored vintage Bell AH-1 Huey Cobra attack helicopter used during the Vietnam War. We also spotted what I think was a type of sparrow, perhaps trying to distract us from its nest. It wasn't injured, as we did see it eventually fly away. Here's where I will digress a little bit. I'm not sure if I shared on this channel, but for those who don't know how Wads and I first met, I'll fill you in on a bit of the details. Wads had left his hometown of Rapid River, Michigan sometime in the early 70s along with one of his older brothers. They first moved to the Denver area and then, after a short time, decided to head west and work on the fishing boats. Apparently, the Oregon spring rains changed their plans and they held up in the Rogue Valley of southern Oregon. They both landed jobs at a local pear orchard, and this is where our paths first crossed. I was in my senior year of high school when one of my best friends started dating an older guy who just so happened to be best friends with Wads. In our senior year, Barb and I mostly had morning classes, and we would cut out of school early and drive out to the orchard. She would take off with her fella, and Wads and I would hang out. We definitely got off to an awkward start, as he assumed I was an underage schoolgirl, and at his ripe old age of 26 wanted nothing to do with trouble, when in actuality I had recently turned 18. We had a short-lived summer romance, and I was headed off to college in the fall. I never forgot him and often wondered what had become of him. So now speed the clock up some 38 years later. I hadn't kept in close contact with Barb, but somehow her profile popped up on Facebook and I reached out and we struck up a conversation. She brought up Wads and shared with me what she knew about him, and of course that piqued my curiosity, so I had to do a little Facebook stalking. Well, the rest is now more current history. We married in 2018, a simple gathering on the beach with close friends. And yes, my friend Barb and her husband, yep, she married that boy, joined us. In fact, her husband, Wads' old friend, was the one who married us. I have been very excited to make this trip east and meet new family members. Our first stop was to visit Wads' youngest brother and his amazing wife. They live in Wisconsin and have built themselves a beautiful ranch and own and board several horses. enjoyed our visit and look forward to seeing each other again. Early on, when planning this trip, I had hoped to explore a bit of the Door Peninsula. For those not familiar with this location, it is a small strip of land on Lake Michigan on the Wisconsin side. I had seen some pictures and wanted to check it out, so away we went. About halfway up the peninsula, we passed through the town of Sturgeon Bay. I tried to make campground reservations, but all of the local parks were full. We did have a much appreciated invite for mooch docking in someone's driveway, but we wanted to do a bit more exploring and kept this as a plan B. And here we passed over the Sturgeon Bay Ship Canal. Much of the drive looked just like this: lush, green, and trees in abundance. We had been traveling along Bayshore Drive, and we spotted the George K. Piney County Park and decided to take a stop. Park regulations open 1/2 hour before sunrise to 11. Okay, so you cannot camp. Okay. Our next stop was the Frank E. Murray County Park. We took a drive through and found it to be a beachfront day use area. Really nice. continued on to the small town of Egg Harbor, and I mean small. Population 201. We just had to make a stop at the Juddville Clay Studio. There are so many art galleries. I could spend days here. The town of Ephraim, and I could be saying that wrong, with a population of 345, is one of the larger small towns along this drive. miles to Gills Rock, and then over to Northport, which is 2 miles of the strangest road we've ever driven. The last 2 miles of this stretch of road to Northport was very twisty. It reminded me of driving along the backside of a sidewinder snake. And just like that, you're at the end of the road, unless you're prepared to take a ferry to Washington Island, but not today. Find a place to park and check this out. Back down the Door Peninsula, we backtracked along the same route until we arrived at Sturgeon Bay. Here we got off on Highway 57 to explore the east side of the peninsula. Our drive back down the peninsula was much the same, and we would have loved to have more time to spend here. We have definitely added it to our list of places that we would like to come back and visit. We got to our last town in Wisconsin, Marinette. It is located on the south bank of the Menominee River at the mouth of Green Bay, part of Lake Michigan. Stevenson Island. During the lumber boom of the late 19th century, Marinette became the 10th largest city in Wisconsin. Marinette Welcome Center on iOverlander as a free overnight location. However, on this night, it was kind of busy with a concert taking place on the island. So after a short rest and a walkabout, we decided to cross the bridge into Michigan. June 22nd, a little over 6 weeks since we had left our home in Southern Oregon, and we finally arrived in Michigan. The first town we came to was Menominee. Okay, come on, that's just fun to say, right? Exciting to cross into Michigan, but honestly, it looked a lot like Wisconsin and the Door Peninsula. Trees on both sides of the road. I started making up a little song about trees. We found this campground called Fox Park. I believe it was $15 per night, and we had to make the reservation online. Fox Park is a 10-acre park and campground located on M35 along the Bay of Green Bay. The campground offers 20 electric campsites. Water is available near the entrance of the park, and there are several porta potties located throughout the park. chose us a spot with a waterfront view. Although it did not have electricity, it did have a lot of mosquitoes. The skies were a bit hazy from smoke due to the wildfires burning up in Canada. It had been a really long drive day, and it was nice to just stop. We celebrated having arrived, and I was super excited to see Michigan for the first time. Be sure to join us in our next video as we explore Rapid River and I get to meet new family. Thanks for watching.